Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wells of Wall Street Network update here on the channel NTVRK on the exchange. Available now on Qcoin. Sound like I'm selling it. Guys, big things with Netvrk coming in the near future. So quite recently, we haven't covered Netvrk for a couple of weeks now. One of our awesome projects that we followed, well, personally followed around sort of February, March time before it launched and stupidly didn't get any. And then waited an eternity for it to come onto some main exchanges, and then by that time the price had shot up. But we'll go into the chart in a second. But first of all, I wanted to pinpoint some really amazing partnerships and opportunities moving forward with Netvrk. So those that don't know Netvrk, go and check our intro video at the end of this one. But very much in a nutshell, this is, in my opinion, one of the leading aspects of Metaverse application. The ability to create your own lands, kind of like what Sandbox and Decentraland do, but in a very different and more, in my opinion, exciting way. A bit more realistic in the way that you can control your terrains and create land and NFTs, transportation, all of this kind of thing. This is, in my opinion, the Ready Player One proper mechanism. So the recent strategic partnerships, first of all, we're going to look at the first one, which is Lovelace. So platform for NFT experiences. I believe they utilize Cardano as well. So the Ethereum Cardano connector. So of course, recently we saw about the Ethereum and Cardano bridging. This is of course one of the key benefits that comes out of it. So essentially allowing yourselves to go on PancakeSwap and get involved in obtaining the Lace token for you to then obtain various different NFTs, which will eventually, of course, that's brilliant, isn't it? Page not found, I think that's my internet. Then, of course, being able to interlace that with the likes of Netvrk platform in the future. So I think there's going to be some great potential there as time goes by. From what I've read and seen some reviews of on some channels, Lovelace is a very cool, easy platform to use. Of course, with Cardano as well, it's going to be very intuitive and, of course, hopefully not too many fees or anything like that. But yeah, very much a big thing at the moment. Play to earn mechanism and NFTs aspect as well is definitely worth looking into. So there's a few other things to look into, like staking and play to earn game. What we might do is a separate video on this in the near future. But I do anticipate this to hopefully come on to some other exchanges in the near future. So looking forward to seeing how that develops with Netvrk. And then the next one, which is really more appealing to my kind of gaming. When I was younger, I used to play a game called EVE Online. I wasn't amazingly good at it, but those that know the game will understand where I'm coming from with this. So this is very much an RPG game, but it's also involved in around virtual land, aircrafts and things like this, or spacecrafts in this aspect. So using the Unreal Engine 5, which is a phenomenal technology in itself for gaming, processing and things like that, and how games are developed on them. This is what I love about it. So interoperability. We spoke about this many times when we talked about Netvrk in the original aspects of bridging with other forms of games. That whole Ready Player One mentality is you as an avatar in control of what you want to do in this world, and you can jump between games and applications, etc. So that's really cool to see this kind of aspect. So you've got the heroes here as NFTs that they're going through that you can get involved with. But this will, of course, then entail into things more so in the transportation aspect and the gaming platforms themselves. So look at this. So Sidus NFT heroes. So this is SIDUS on the exchanges when it eventually launches. So you've got the NFT heroes aspect here. All this sort of space travel and everything like that. So the big funding came in for this game. It suits itself to the likes of GTA, so Grand Theft Auto and Cyberpunk, in the aspect that you've got open world gameplay, big lands to investigate and explore, but also the interaction with other players as well. And just here, $2.97 million fundraising round made by major venture capitalists, which secured for the agricultural, farming and gaming initiative. So really cool stuff going on there with Sidus. Interesting. I wonder what they think of this. There's an Elon Musk one there. How cool is that? Okay, so really interesting to see that. Of course, you've got different parts of the game involved with this as well as time goes by. So Sidus Heroes, very much a big part of that. But then we're sort of venturing into other areas of it as well within the game and the aspect of it as the platform and the game builds itself. into various other areas as well. So really looking forward to seeing how this really pulls itself together moving forwards. But like I said, it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal aspect of the game to really get excited about, in my opinion, and bring these worlds colliding together. Big projects, both of them, and big opportunities. So let's keep an eye on that. I think it's very much in an IDO stage as well at the moment, so there's an opportunity to get yourselves involved via gleam.io. There's an opportunity to enter into a winning stake here of obtaining Senate tokens and the Sidus tokens as well. So a few things you need to do to enter. So get involved, and maybe you'll be selected in one of the lucky few that gets the prices at these low prices. And I think this is like another opportunity for me to get involved in something like Netvrk back in the day, and not being lazy this time around. As I said in the previous video of Sandbox just now earlier today, if you see something like this and you're investing in game, or you love gaming and you see the opportunity and what it's capable of doing, just go for it. I've made too many mistakes already this year of missing out, and this is not going to be one of them at all. So I'm very much heavily excited about this project and where it's going to go. There's loads of other different ones out there as well, of course, but we're just talking about this one in particular because of the Netvrk integration here. So really looking forward to seeing how this all develops and collates itself together. But on that momentous note, let's take a look at the chart. There's not a massive amount to look at here. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, but this is using KuCoin's data. Unfortunately, other ones are using wrapped Ethereum, so it's a lot more difficult to sort of give you a real proper lowdown. But what I want to suggest is from the KuCoin launch here, we had the starting off opening position of $1.20, hit the high of 370, had a bit of a correction, but this shows you the belief in the project, guys. We have to tail up again, which is pretty standard as people get more traction into it, more awareness. But what I like about this is a staged effect upwards. I believe Netvrk is still massively undervalued. Some argue that it could be on the Illuvium level. Bear in mind this game hasn't launched yet, similarly to Illuvium. And look at the Illuvium's price now. What is it? Let's just have a quick look on the right-hand side here. I think it's $1,600, guys. Absolutely mental. And in fact, before we continue to talk about Netvrk, I just want to make a valid point here. That if you trace back to sort of launch areas, I mean, this was around sort of $400 when it launched on OKEX here. Some areas of data are missing, but this price point was a lot less, of course, back in the earlier part of the year. So when we go back to the conversation about Netvrk, I still think this is massively undervalued. I think when the game launches and people get really into it, this thing is going to massively take off. So I'm accumulating now. I may have missed the boat earlier this year. Obviously, should have probably got some around this $2 mark, which I think I got a few there, a few bags of it. I've been buying it left, right, and center. Personally, I believe it's going to go higher. Maybe not immediately, but certainly over time. Of course, we'll probably have some retracements and corrections on the way, but I think there's phenomenal confidence in this. People are willing to get involved in the land and all the space, etc. When the game launches, I'm sure of it. And you're going to need some substantial Netvrk to do that. Whether or not I actually go into the game myself, I'm sure I will eventually one day. But for me right now, it's about looking at the opportunity ahead with this game that I should have got earlier this year. You can tell the frustration in my voice. My emphasis on that point, not financial advice, is, again, if you see a project and you believe in it, go for it. As long as you've done your due diligence and you've done your research, it's no problem in that. So that's where the chart is right now. As I said, we've had a very small cool off in sales, but the confidence is still growing. I was going to pull up the RSI here and the MACD. So there's not a massive amount of data to pull out here, but you can see we're very much on the verge of deciding whether we come back down for a bit more of a correction or taking this up to another level. So in my mind right now, I'm going to be purchasing some more Netvrk later today, irrespective of whether it goes up or down. But of course, if it does drop down further, I will be absolutely snapping it up. But because it's right in the middle aspect here of a bit of a limbo moment, there's an opportunity for it to keep growing. What I do want to emphasize today, of course, like we had the tail up to around, we've had some resistance around this level here at $6.87. So I'm going to draw that in there so you're clear on what I'm talking about here. So around this mark, this indicates to me that, of course, we're sort of reflecting a point now as to whether we are aiming perhaps for this macro fib retracement level here at $6.28, currently floating at $6.40 at the time of recording. But I think this is where we might find some stabilization before we decide whether we're taking this up to the next levels and trying to obtain support at 655 and then onto that 680 where we were before. I think we're still obviously a way off the previous all-time high at $7.26 that we saw a few days ago. But I think in general, guys, this is moving in a very positive direction. But just do be wary that there may be some opportunities to grab some at these lower regions, of which, as I said, I will be looking again at around these sort of areas, just under the $6 mark and maybe 570. And I'll be looking at for a purchase position around these levels here. Not saying they'll definitely come down to these areas, but I'm very interested to obtain some around this $5 mark. I think that's a very cheeky level to be obtaining them at as the game develops and lands obtained, and obviously the partnerships keep growing. So again, this is an absolute gem in my opinion. I think there's a lot more to come, especially in 2022 as the game develops and launches. Let's hold on tight, guys. I think this is going to be awesome. We'll see you in the next Netvrk update video. Take care. Bye-bye.